So the parts are finally here for the 1980 Yamaha XS. Now, the parts that I ended up getting for the bike, you guys didn't watch my last video, is basically I haven't been able to get compression on cylinder number 3 with the bike. So I tried using some of the Marvel mystery oil, hopefully maybe try and free up the rings on it. Just trying little stuff here and there, but still wasn't able to get the compression back up. The bike did sit for a very long time, and at this point I've already went ahead and rebuilt the carburetor. I already sent the heads out to be refinished and just made like new. I've already done pretty much a lot of the cleaning of like the gas tank, getting it all cleaned up, working on the lines. For the most part, I've pretty much done a lot to the bike already, and pretty much with getting these rings done, it's kind of going to be that final step for making it a pretty solid running engine for the most part. So what we're going to start doing to get it ready to get these rings switched out is basically I got to start taking the bike apart. If you guys also watched the last video, I also said how I pretty much wanted to pretty much just gut it entirely now, because we're going to have to take out the engine anyway. You're going to have to take off the carburetors, the exhaust, and just, you know, the gas tank and all the normal stuff. And since I'm going to be doing that, I decided to might as well gut everything else off the bike and get it down to the bare frame. So that's what we're going to start doing today. So this is probably going to be my 7th or 8th time actually taking this carburetor off along with everything else. So I'm already going to hop into it. I've already went ahead and loosened up the clamps that go around the carburetor here, these boots for it, for the vacuum and all that. So once those are off, your next step on the gas tanks on the petcock, there's these little metal clamps. Typically if you get a pair of like needle nose pliers and squeeze on them, you're able to slide these down and that'll loosen them off. Make sure that your gas tank valve is also off. Mine isn't, so I have to check on that, but it's off. Another thing that this bike has been having an issue with is that everything gets kind of stuck up with this handle. It kind of has to break free. I'm probably going to get a replacement petcock for it at some point. Get that and slide this down. There's that. Right here, it looks like get this off on both of them. That stops all the gas, locks it up. Still got a little bit in the lines. That's it off. Gas lines are off. Next is going to be this pipe. And we'll cut to when we're doing that. Alright, so now that I finally got all the lines attached off of the carburetor, next thing we can take off right now is the gas tank. Now if the gas tank's off, it's a little bit easier. Now the way that I personally like taking the carburetor off is I like to push down so it comes off the top half of the boots that hold it. And then on the inside, you're going to have this throttle cable attached to it. It's super easy to take out. Once it's off of its holder, all you got to do is bring it down a little bit. There'll be a notch, and it'll slide right out. And you have one vacuum line on the other side, right behind it. That's going to be one. Let's get a little bit hard. Where did I put those? Here they are. Here's a needle nose. So once that comes off, the only other thing that you're going to have left is the attachments for the actual gas lines itself. Like that. And the only thing you guys actually need, too lazy to walk around right now, but the only thing that you guys are actually going to need to take the carburetor off a bike like this is needle nose pliers and a screwdriver. Screwdriver will be for the boots, and then there's a bigger screw that holds all the lines for the gas tank straight to the carburetor. Once that's off, you're pretty easily able to get the rest of the carburetor off. Now what I like to do, guys, when I'm taking stuff apart like this, any screws that come out that are able to self-thread into something, I like to put them back into it. Just so when I go to mount everything back up, the screws are already in place where they need to be. And just like that, carburetor is out. Now guys, if you saw any of the other videos I've been doing on both my TikTok and on here, I already went ahead and rebuilt the carburetors, redid all the jets, had it cleaned out. Bottom end, top end, everything's already went through on these carburetors. I just need to make it look a little bit better, kind of polish it up when I put it back on. But carburetor wise, this bike is solid. So the next part that I need to do is start disconnecting all these lines, and then I'll start worrying about getting the top of the engine off. So the next step in order to take off everything is being able to take off the head cover that you see right here, because then there are 12 bolts that hold the actual heads itself onto the bike, and those come up like this and then slide out of the bike. Same thing that I had to do when I had these heads sent out to get them refinished, redone, new valves and all that good stuff on the bike. It can be a little bit tricky to get inside here if you don't have the right tools. Thankfully, this bike originally came with the little, I don't know what you call it, I guess like the tool pouch that you get with bikes. So thankfully, the tools that I needed were still in there. So now that that's out, we got the hardest bolt, which is basically that front one. Then the second hardest one is the one that is on the far back right here. But again, that's why I use the right tools, so everything's easier. Once those are broken free, loosen them all up, and we are good. Now the rest is just going to be smooth sailing, getting all this off. The other side taken care of. Now it's time to get all of these on the left side broken, and then as I'll be able to show you guys, this cover will come off. We'll slide it out this way or this way, whichever way matters. Take the boots off that you guys see right here that was connected to the carburetor. There's 4 of those that'll be able to come off, and then I'm pretty sure, apart from a couple lines here and there on the inside of the engine, taking those off, I think we'll be good to take the 12 bolts that we got. And here is the moment of truth with taking this valve cover off. This is always a little bit fidgety every time I've done this, because you got to clear over the cam gears and the chain that is over them. And what I just did there was I ended up taking the center bolt that was holding the cover on, and hopefully I'll have enough wiggle room. Bring it back here. There's one, bring the front. It's always tight doing this, but that should be good. Hanging up on something. So that cleared. Trying to figure out what it's holding up on right now. Let's see. We got that taken care of. Yeah, so it's hanging up on the center gear. Or not the center gear, but I should say the chain that runs over. So in the center right here, guys, there's a chain that is running in this shape, and basically lifting that up, you kind of got to tilt it down, bring it back, and it's just really wonky trying to get out. So if I take a few more of the bolts up, like this, see if we can can get that angle. There's one. Put that down. There's another bolt just came out. Alright, that one is off. So then we got one more that's going to hold us back. There comes even more. Try not to mess up the gasket either. But at this point I can pretty much wiggle everything out. And there it is, guys. There's the head cover. Really want to make sure that I'm not missing out on anything. I want to make sure that I got all the screws still here. And I literally had just, I'd say about a week ago, guys, I got done with the valve covers, or not the valve covers, doing a valve job on it. So also got new gaskets and everything for it as well. So just want to make sure that I keep everything in pretty good condition. Oil's running up here pretty good. See if I can get you guys a little bit closer. So as you guys can see, there's the gear I was talking about that it tends to hit when you're taking it off. But for right now, I'd say this is a really good stopping point. Get these carburetor boots off real quick, and the next step will actually be taking the heads of the engine off. And again, guys, that is always, last time I did it, it was a little bit of a pain doing. But for right now, I think I've had enough of sweating like a pig right now. It is summertime in a carport building, so you guys can imagine how hot it is. But hopefully you guys are enjoying this content. I'm trying to talk a little bit more while I'm working on stuff and actually showing you guys some of the stuff that I am doing, but still trying to keep it as short as possible so you guys don't get bored so quick. But if you guys got any comments or questions, just, be sure to leave it down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And please do be able to get a subscription going. And what I mean by a subscription, not trying to sound like Netflix or anything, but if you guys want to, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Really trying to get this channel at 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and I really feel like we can do it. So as always, guys, though, I'll see you in the next video.